Class, good morning once again. We have been able to, we are still on the same course, education, culture, and society. And previously, we dealt on differentiation in society, inequalities in society, how society is structured, the seniority, the superiority that exists in most societies. But now, we want to see what education can do, whether education can help us to reduce inequality, or it will multiply it, it will increase it inequality. Because some people believe education serves as a factor for widening the gap between the rich and the poor, while some people believe that the only gospel of salvation for the poor is to be thoroughly educated. So we want to see the role of education in redistributing national income, the role of education in redistributing classes, how education can help us to bridge the gap, to reduce inequalities in society. You remember, inequalities cannot be wiped up completely, but it can be reduced to the barest minimum through educational activities. Now, those people who believe that education is a blocking, it can block the way to redistribute, because the kind of education Nigeria has is elitist type of education, education that is suitable for the brilliant ones, education that is suitable for the gifted ones, education that encourages competition. And this gives, when you give people who are brilliant, what of those people who are lacking behind? Like when we were in secondary school, in our school, the best 30 students will be put in a class. The 30 to 60 will be put in another class. 60 to 90 will be put in another class. 90 to 120. And we started our classification from P to Z. P to US. Z was meant for commercial students. In that sense, those people whom they put in P, they were the most brilliant. And when examination came, most of them would score grade one. And those of us in XYZ, we are likely to fail. So education has already grouped us into the poor and the rich. It has marginalized those people who are less privileged. The same thing with any institutions that charges money. If you send away your children from school because they cannot pay, you cannot claim to be democratic. And most of the schools, all these private schools, when you divide schools into special schools, federal school, state schools, you are widening the gap. You are building gap between, you are widening individual differentiations. So that's why some people believe that education widening the gap between the rich and the poor. Because there are some education that the poor will not have access to. Only the son of the rich will have access to that school, because the parents, they cannot pay they cannot pay the school fees. And if children cannot pay, and those children they go to that place and they finish, they become this school is indirectly or directly widening the gap between the rich and the poor. Some private schools, they pay up to 1 million naira for certain courses. Like people will charge for medicine, they will charge for law. So that's restricting the son of the poor from becoming lawyers, the son of the poor from becoming doctors, from becoming architects, from becoming engineers. So those people who believe that education is an impediment to social mobility, we cannot write them off totally. And education, when education that is that is credit oriented, you want money not that is for the welfare or for the knowledge that will be gotten from studying, that is paramount. If you establish schools because you want to get money from there, and you know that the only the children of the rich can access that education, you are not you are widening the gap between the rich and the poor. And if a child or a student is turned away from university because of money, because of lack of money, because he cannot afford to pay school fees, then that child has been denied access to rise from one social mobility to the other, especially in Nigeria where poverty is generational. A father can be poor, the children can be poor, and the children can be also be poor. So it is generational. So education can liberate people. It can raise people from the rabbles. It can bring them to the limelight. So if education now is charged, and that is why the government of Nigeria, according to Roka, they established universal primary school education so that in order to bridge inequality, universal basic education that is current now is meant to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. Even the 6334 system of education is targeted for the purpose of reducing equality. But Hegelian equality, Hegelian free education is not like the one that is practiced in Nigeria today. The Hegelian, everything will be free. Free uniform, free feeding, free shoe, free anything that free books. But in Nigeria, children they will have to buy their own uniforms. They will have to pay, even they will pay PT, predators levy. So any school that sends a child away for not able to pay parent levy is undemocratic, is creating inequality in the society. And that may account for the reasons why some people say education widen the gap between the rich and the poor, and that is a blockade to redistribution from people to move from one social ladder to the other. There are two different types of mobility. We have the horizontal mobility and we have the perpendicular mobility. If you move from one social ladder on the same social ladder, that is horizontal, you move to another scale. Like a landlord now whose rent rose high, that makes him to become one of that raises his standard, his economic status. He's still a landlord, but because of the increase in the rent, I'm just using that as an example. It can happen to farmers. Farmers who they have their farmlands, but when farm products began to rise, they moved to the another economic level. So they rose from that to an economic level, and the landowners also land can appreciate. So it is moving on the same ladder, but horizontal is moving on the, but on another ladder, another level. Like a woman through marriage, you can become a liar, you can reach to another class. So education, that is mobility. So education now, and we remember Plato as he uses education to redistribute classes. The philosopher kings, the military, and the apprenticeship trades. Education distributed education do the sorting out, because education through examinations, people are sorted out into the brilliant ones, into the average ones, and into the dull ones. Behaviorally also they are sorted out into well behaved, satisfactory behaved, and everything. So education actually arrogates value to citizens. It only gives value to citizens. Let's say for example in the labour market, somebody with PhD will be ranked higher than somebody with first degree, and somebody with first degree will be rated higher than somebody with ordinary grade 2 or NCE. It is the education that arrogates such value to them. So if a child of a farmer now can rise from from the village to have PhD and becomes a professor, for that family, he has brought that family to limelight, and he has from the poverty, he has broken that poverty chain that will bedevil that family. He has become known because of education. So people like Oliver Banks support the motion that education is an impetus for mobility of status, when he said opportunity to rise in the economic and social scale depends less and less upon the accumulation of small capital more and more on the possession of degree and diplomas. Man Group also supporting banks said that one can hardly be considered to be a member of the middle class unless the education one pursues requires a relatively high level of education. Look at what banks is saying and Olive. They are saying that if you are not well educated, if you have not spent lengthy years in school, you will not be considered as a second class citizen. You will not join the elite class. That is to say, if you have not been thoroughly educated. So education has to do with the number of times and the number of examinations you really pass before you can join the elitist class, before you can be a second class citizen. This time around, we are not even saying go to the first class, go and control the wealth. But for you to be comfortable, that is second class citizen. You have to be thoroughly educated. It's not just spending 6 years in primary school and you say you are thoroughly educated. And that 6 years you spend in primary school will only rank you among those people who are still at the lowest end of the ladder. If you go to secondary school, you are still not relatively educated. You are still not thoroughly educated. So it is the number of years you spend in school. It is the number of examinations that you pass that will enable you to cross the ladder, to rise up to the next level. So if you don't like if you are not, it is the education. That's why the amount that a semi-skilled or somebody who is thoroughly skilled will be paid will be different. So if you are, it is education that determines your status in the society. It is the examination that you pass that determines your social status, your political status. You cannot become a governor if you did not go to school. You cannot become a head of state if you did not attend schooling. And that schooling must not be just going to school. It must be relatively high. The number of years you spend to achieve to obtain education matters a lot. An example of someone who is well known throughout the world and who rose from the rabbles to limelight is our former head of state, General Obasanjo. He mentioned openly that in the village where he grew up, nobody knew his father beyond that village. But when he went to school, without school he cannot join the army, and if he join the army, he will belong to all the other rank. So he joined the army as an officer, and that's why he could rise. Now throughout the world knows him throughout the world. He's known throughout the world. And without education, we would not have been known beyond that their environment. So education actually brings someone from rabbles to limelight. It's an eye opener. It broadens one outlook. It gives you the knowledge of far distant places which you wouldn't have known if you had not been educated. So education helps to redistribute classes. But in some societies, it is through selection and sponsorship or through ideology. Like in Nigeria also, it can be start to be through selection because if you want to join any organization like the insurance, like chartered the banking system, you have to do examinations before you can be enlisted into that career. For you to become a chartered accountant, for you to become an chartered surveyor, for you to become fellow in insurance, those are the those are the elitist status. A chartered insurance, a chartered accountant, all those professional courses. And those professional courses, they are selected, you are selected. And those selections are based on the examination, not only one examination, series of examinations, qualifying examinations, even before you you are even qualified to begin the the processing. So, but we have sponsorship, that is to say, and we have selection like in America, like in Britain, it is selection. People like it's just like a race. That if you can struggle very well, and it is same that of Nigeria, whereby people are through their passing of the examination, they can now be good among the elite. They can become elite. They can become professionals. they can become skilled, and they can become known through all those things. So education actually helps social mobility. It helps people to move from one level to the other, and it makes them to be it improves their lot. It is not the amount of money you save according to relief, but the amount of the certificates, the diplomas that you have, that gives you, that qualifies you to be classified as an elite. Thank you.